Nike is panicking. One of the most powerful sportswear companies on the planet, a brand that outfits entire national teams, a company whose supply chain has survived championship runs and Super Bowl surges and Olympic moments, is in full emergency mode right now. And the season hasn't even started yet. Let that land for a second. We are in the preseason. Not a single 2026 regular season snap has been taken. Shedeur Sanders has not yet walked onto an NFL field wearing number 2 as the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in a game that counts. And Nike is already reaching out to outside manufacturers, pulling in external partners, extending contracts to collaborators they rarely have to call. All because the demand for one jersey has completely overwhelmed their internal infrastructure. The shelves are running dry. The online queues are backed up. The projections they built around a measured, gradual rollout became irrelevant within hours of a single post on X. Just a number, just the number 2. No press conference, no long statement, no elaborate announcement. Shedeur posted it, the internet did the rest, and Nike's pipeline got hit like it never saw it coming. Because here's the thing, they didn't. Not at this scale, not at this speed, not with this kind of force. And that is the part of this story that goes so much deeper than jersey sales numbers. Cast your mind back to last season. Shedeur Sanders, the 144th overall pick, a 5th-round selection that sent shockwaves through the football world on draft night, spent his entire rookie year wearing number 12. Not his number. Not the number he built his identity around. Not the number Colorado retired before he ever took an NFL snap. But number 12. Because veteran wide receiver DeAndre Carter already had his preferred digit, and the situation is what it was. He wore it anyway. He went out there and did his job. He went 3-4 as a starter on a 5-12 team. He threw 10 interceptions that gave every critic who wanted to write him off exactly the ammunition they were looking for. The front office got questioned. The pick got questioned. The entire decision got questioned. And through all of that noise, wearing a number that wasn't his, on a team that wasn't winning, Shedeur Sanders finished as the highest-selling jersey in the entire NFL among every player from the 2025 draft class. Every quarterback drafted ahead of him. Every elite skill position player taken in rounds 1 through 4. He outsold every single one of them. And this is the part that genuinely stops you in your tracks. This is the first time in recorded NFL history that a 5th-round pick has ever led jersey sales for their entire draft class. First time, ever. Think about what that number was quietly communicating while people were busy debating the draft decision. The market had already rendered its verdict. The fans had already voted with their wallets. The commercial frequency that Shedeur Sanders operates on has absolutely nothing to do with his round number, and that number 12 jersey demand, as remarkable as it was, should have been the loudest possible warning sign that what was coming next would be something else entirely. Then March 30th, 2026 arrives. DeAndre Carter gets released, number 2 becomes available. And every fan who had been patiently sitting on their hands, specifically holding off, specifically waiting for this moment, flooded the market simultaneously. The traffic hitting Shedeur Sanders' jersey pages reached levels that retail systems were genuinely not designed to absorb in real time. Nike's gradual rollout plan, their measured production ramp-up, their steady increase in availability, all of it became completely irrelevant within hours. The demand wasn't gradual. It wasn't steady. It was a wall of consumer hunger colliding with a supply infrastructure that was nowhere near built to handle it. And so Nike did something it rarely has to do. They went outside. Partner manufacturers, external collaborators, emergency contracts, all of it deployed just to try and keep pace with a demand curve that had already lapped them before they could even react. This is not a small thing. When a company with the global scale and logistical sophistication of Nike has to go external to manage merchandise volume in the preseason, that is an extraordinary statement about the commercial weight of the person wearing that jersey. But here's what makes this story even bigger than the numbers. Number 2 is not just a jersey digit for Shedeur Sanders. It never was. This is an identity that has been under construction since his days at Trinity Christian High School in Texas. This is the foundation of 2 legendary, his personal apparel line, a brand he built deliberately and methodically, long before the NFL draft was a realistic conversation. 2 seasons at Jackson State under his father, Deion Sanders. 2 record-breaking seasons at Colorado, where he took a struggling program and turned it into must-watch television every single Saturday. Thousands of yards, national attention, a Heisman conversation, a program revival that the sport hadn't seen in decades. Colorado retired his number before he played a single NFL snap. Through all of it, every game, every record, every moment, number 2 was the constant. It was the signature. It was the promise. When Nike puts number 2 on a Browns jersey with Sanders on the back, they are not printing athletic apparel. They are producing a piece of a cultural statement. And the market has made it crystal clear that millions of people want to own that statement and are willing to pay for it, willing to wait for it, and are absolutely not willing to be told it's out of stock. This also isn't even the first time Shedeur's commercial power has caught the industry flat-footed. His signature shoes went viral before the draft, driving a wave of consumer attention that delivered enormous profits for Nike and made it very clear that this young man can move a market faster than conventional projections account for. That shoe moment should have been the blueprint. That should have been the proof of concept that told Nike's merchandise team everything they needed to understand about how quickly Shedeur Sanders can shift the commercial landscape. The jersey situation is that same energy, multiplied. And now consider what's actually ahead on the calendar. Right now, in the preseason, before a single game has been played, Nike is already overwhelmed, already in emergency mode, already pulling in outside partners. So what happens when the season kicks off? What happens when Shedeur Sanders walks onto that field wearing number 2 in a live NFL game for the first time? What happens if he takes the step that his rookie season hinted at? If he builds on the Pro Bowl season? If he silences the criticism? If he shows the football world exactly why the Cleveland Browns believed in him when 143 players were selected before his name was called? Shedeur already made history as a rookie. He became the first Cleveland Browns quarterback to earn a Pro Bowl selection since Derek Anderson in 2007. He did that wearing the wrong number, on a losing team, absorbing every piece of criticism the media wanted to throw at him. Now he has his number back. The number he built a brand around. The number that his entire identity has been constructed on since high school. Number 2 is back on a Browns jersey, and the market has already decided it is the hottest piece of merchandise in the NFL before the season has even begun. If you've been riding with this channel, you already know we don't do takes just to do takes over here at Browns Breakout. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and drop a like because we're just getting started on what is shaping up to be the most compelling Browns season in a generation. Here's the reality that Nike's supply chain teams are undoubtedly losing sleep over. What exists right now, this preseason fever pitch, this unprecedented demand before a single snap, would look modest by comparison if Shedeur Sanders goes out in Week 1 and reminds the entire country why Colorado fans used to hold their breath every time he dropped back in the pocket. If he takes that next step, if he becomes the top 10 quarterback conversation that his talent has always suggested he could be, the jersey demand that is already overwhelming Nike's infrastructure becomes something their projections have no framework for. The 144th pick, the wrong number, a 5-12 team, 10 interceptions, a media that wanted him to fail. And he still outsold every player in his draft class. He still made the Pro Bowl. He still put Nike in scramble mode before year 2 even begins. Now the number is right, the moment is bigger, and the only real question left is whether Nike has learned from this preseason chaos and actually built enough supply to handle what's coming. Because the market has already told us everything we need to know. It told us last year in number 12. It's screaming it now in number 2. And when that first game kicks off and Shedeur Sanders is under center, number 2 on his back, Cleveland rising in the crowd. If Nike thinks this preseason demand was heavy, they haven't seen anything yet. So, I want to hear from you. Did you already grab the number 2 jersey? Or are you still waiting on Nike to get their act together and restock? Do you think this demand becomes even bigger once the season actually starts? And the big question.